Welcome back to our discussions of the influence of AI on virtue development and identity formation. In our previous episode, we explored the multifaceted concept of identity and its intricate connection with actions and personality development. We also considered how identity formation is not just an internal process, but one that requires external validation within a social context. And as AI's capabilities grow, emulating human qualities and actions, it raises profound questions about the future of identity formation. In this episode, we will continue our journey and present an esoteric perspective to the problem that might be surprising to some. But before we begin, liking the video and subscribing to our channel is still an excellent idea for anyone valuing philosophy and critical thinking. Thanks. From an evolutionary perspective, humans naturally seek the path of the least resistance. Since the invention of the steam engine, increasingly sophisticated machines have optimized this path. Artificial intelligence systems, while fundamentally different from all preceding systems, are likely to optimize the path of the least resistance in unprecedented ways. Let's assume, for the sake of argument, that the economic benefits of this optimization are redistributed in a socially just manner, allowing people to live leisurely as Marx envisioned. Even so, I fear an existential crisis of a magnitude humanity has yet to encounter. What fulfillment can one derive from a life with the existential depth of a middle-class vacation? This scenario suggests that the Aristotelian and Deweyan perspectives on action in relation to the development of identity may no longer be sufficient, as both are grounded in a pragmatic and instrumental utility perspective. In the psychological commentaries on the teaching of Gurdjieff and Ouspensky, Maurice Nicole, a student of Jung, Gurdjieff, and Ouspensky, discusses the relationship between action and identity from an esoteric perspective, karma yoga. Maurice Nicole writes, and in accordance with his nature, education, tastes, and habits, man adopts a certain definite attitude towards things, people, and events. As long as man's attitude remains unchanged, people, things, and events also remain unchanged, that is, corresponding to his karma. This excerpt also illustrates the idea that the quality of circumstances is a function of personal attitude, rather than the reverse. From a Darwinian standpoint, the purpose of life may seem to be the prolongation of life itself, but from an esoteric view, life is a teacher instrumental to the subject's inner evolution. Nichols' insights into karma yoga are deeply rooted in the fundamental principles of the system of the Fourth Way. Additionally, some ideas from the philosophy of action also touch on some of the core concepts of the Fourth Way. We have a dedicated video on Maurice Nicole, whom we regard as one of the founding fathers of the Fourth Way. You can find a link to that video somewhere on your screen or in the description. The teachings of the Fourth Way constantly remind us that the mechanical man cannot do and lives the majority of his existence in a completely mechanical state, without any effort or directed attention. The system strongly urges man to remember himself, as self-remembering is its central concept. Self-remembering refers to making the effort of consciously directing one's attention to one's actions from a third-person perspective, independent of, or divided from, the attention required to perform the action itself. Within the ideal of the path of the least resistance, effort is a factor to be eliminated as much as possible. However, on the esoteric path of karma yoga, overcoming resistance is precisely the condition of possibility for inner growth. For Aristotle, the development of a moral disposition is a function of the virtue of the action. Karma yoga, on the other hand, suggests that the value of human action is not dependent on the virtue of the action, but is intrinsically connected to the undertaking of the action itself. Because an esoteric view of identity is independent of utility and virtue, it offers an alternative perspective on the development of identity and the sense of meaning. We are slowly coming to the end of our discussion on the relation between action, virtue, and identity. Let's recap what we have learned. In this video series, we have delved into how the increasing automation of society through AI might impact the formation of identity. Aristotle and Dewey underscore the significance of action in shaping identity, yet the widespread adoption of AI could prove to be a radical disruptor. This leads us to ponder the extent to which individuals can contribute meaningful value when AI executes tasks with far greater efficiency. The possibility that human action may become increasingly redundant due to the relentless integration of AI into societal life cannot be dismissed. The traditional Aristotelian and Deweyan perspectives on action and identity, rooted in a pragmatic and instrumental view of utility, may no longer be wholly applicable. This raises a critical question. How can individuals find a sense of value, purpose, and identity in the outcomes of their labor? Maurice Nicole offers an intriguing alternative by challenging the conventional paradigm of action, work, and virtue. In his commentary on the teachings of Gurdjieff and Ouspensky, known as the Fourth Way, Nicole discusses the Karma Yoga tradition. This tradition suggests a different relationship between action and identity, one that could reshape how we appraise human contributions. In this esoteric view, the traditional paradigm of utility is redefined as effort and self-awareness. Here, action is inherently virtuous, independent of its execution. Action becomes a vehicle for personal growth, instrumental to the individual's inner evolution. The inner transformation, therefore, is not contingent on the virtuousness of an action, but on the act of performing it. Yet, the Deweyan perspective may still hold significant relevance as AI fundamentally transforms our society. History has taught us that a single technological revolution can bring about profound and irreversible changes in societal interactions. Evolutionary thinking suggests that such interactions are inevitable and continuously call upon our responsibility to align these transformations with human values. It is evident that AI's influence on habits and actions in relation to identity will challenge us once more to forge societal structures where individuals can discover new avenues for personal identity development. Some ideas from philosophy of action also touch directly on one of the core tenets of the system of the Fourth Way. Self-remembering is the concept that refers to consciously directing one's attention to one's actions. If you are keen to learn more about this way of thinking, I encourage you to watch our videos on the system of the Fourth Way. For now, I would like to thank you for your interest and invite you to express your appreciation by leaving a like and subscribing. Thank you, and see you in the next video.